This truth is not about trying to be some kind of tough guy. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect of the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth in sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Now, this is going to be a follow-up to a video I did last time, in which the last video I did on this was a video based on a video that the brother Banak Tazakba from South Carolina did, where basically he was getting on these guys right here. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, he was getting on these guys right here.
Yo, you can't stop me from going. You can't stop me from going.
All right, so I mean, obviously the video is acting up. It's buffering. It's let me see. All right, this guy right here, as you can see, the police showed up. This guy that's being arrested, he did not humble himself. He wanted to play the role of a tough guy, and look where it got him. It got him arrested and thrown into a police car and sent to jail. Now, in the book of Matthew, the 25th chapter, okay, and I believe the 25th verse, Yahweh Shai said, agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. So now that's a direct commandment from Yahweh Shai. So if you disobey that, what do you think is going to happen? Well, there's a punishment for disobeying the commandment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Now, I'm not saying we have to keep every single law, statute, and commandment in the Holy Scriptures, because we cannot do that. That is not possible in this society. Why? Because we are in captivity. But what you have to do is keep the laws, statutes, and commandments that you can keep to the best of your ability. Okay? So if the police is about to roll up on you and confront you, because 9 times out of 10, the police didn't show up out of their own will. Somebody called the police on you guys, for basically noise, for disturbance, which, the scriptures do say, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. But, you shouldn't be teaching around places where you shouldn't be teaching in front of an open business. Because more than likely, the business owner inside the building is going to call the police and have y'all removed. It's better to teach in a spot where it's better to teach in a spot where a business building is closed or something, but there's still like a huge traffic of people going up and down the street, going up and down the sidewalks. So this truth is not about trying to be some tough guy. I mean, yeah, sometimes we get angry when we go out there on the highways and hedges, and sometimes we get angry and harsh words come out of our mouth. We might yell here and there, but that's because we're angry. It has nothing to do with trying to be some kind of tough guy. Because the Lord can easily send somebody up to your camp to show you, man. Okay? Like the saying goes, there's always somebody that's bigger and badder out there than you are. So this truth is not about trying to be some tough guy, man. Okay? And a matter of fact, there's many examples of men in the ancient past, and I'm just going to give a few examples of men in the ancient past that were put into dire straits, and we're going to see what their reactions were. Okay? So now, to show you that Yahweh Shai himself had humility, because Yahweh Shai was described as an austere man. Okay? The word austere means rough, rigid. Okay? unbending. So let's see what Yahushua did when his people tried to stone him. Now in John, the 8th chapter, in this particular part that I'm going to read to you, basically there were some Jews, that came up to Yahushua, some Israelites, some Jakes, that came up to Yahushua, and basically, they claimed to be the seed of Abraham, and which, in a sense, we do come from the line of Abraham because Jacob came from the line of Abraham. It went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. But ultimately, Yahushua was basically speaking to these guys, telling them the truth. And basically, they was calling Yahushua a blasphemer. They said Yahushua had a devil, Basically, they were looking at Yahushua as if he was not the Messiah, okay, which Yahushua is the Messiah. To show you how carnal our people are, Yahushua was speaking spiritual words into them, but those words was going over their heads. So let's see what happens after the confrontation ends up with these wicked Jakes picking up stones to kill Yahushua. Let's see what Yahushua's response was. Let's see if Yahushua tried to be some kind of tough guy, Let's see if Yahushua tried to get up in their face, Let's see what Yahushua's reaction was. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 51. Verily, verily, meaning truly, truly, the word verily means truly, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Now, that's a spiritual saying right there, okay? That's a spiritual saying. That's talking about you shall never see death spiritually. Now, don't get me wrong. There are men that are of the elect that are on this planet right now that are immortal because they're never going to die. They're going to be here on this earth until Yahushua returns. But this is talking about spiritually, If you walk in the spirit after the manner of Yahushua, then you're not going to fall out the truth. You're not going to go back into the world because the world itself is death. Just look all around you. People smoking, people drugged out on crack, on weed, on cocaine, on meth, on the bong, on flocka, all kind of manner of drugs, okay? People all drugged out on edibles. You got people who's living a gang-banging life, a thug life, a gangster life. People's lives are empty out here, man. All that is death. The food you eat, the air you breathe, that's all death, man. Going back into the world, trying to make it into college, that's death, man. Trying to make it in this society, that's death. So if you're walking in the spirit after the manner of Yahushua, then the Lord is going to keep you in the truth, man. He's going to keep you strong, especially if you're of the elect. So the Lord is going to make it to where you're not going to fall out the truth, okay? You're going to keep serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua with fear and trembling. So this is a spiritual saying. But these Jakes right here, being carnal, this saying right here went right over their heads. Then said the Jews, the wicked Israelites, the southern kingdom, the tribe of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, okay? Then said the Jews unto them, okay, and so-called Negroes come from the tribe of Judah, so-called Jamaicans come from the tribe of Benjamin, and so-called Haitians come from the tribe of Levi. Just for your information. Then said the Jews unto Yahushua, now we know that thou hast a devil. Abraham is dead, okay, and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead, whom thou makest thyself? Yahushua answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your God. Woo! A straight cut. That's another thing about Jake, man. When Jake get cut in the scriptures, he want to get physical, man. That's Jake, though, man. Okay? Yet ye have not known him. Right. Because if they had known Yahweh, if they had known the Heavenly Father Yahweh, then they would, these wicked Jakes right here would not have had a murderous intent. Okay? Yet ye have not known Yahweh, but I know him. Yahushua knows him. And if Yahushua should say, I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. Woo! Another straight cut. But Yahushua knows Yahweh, but I know him and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Then said the wicked Israelites, those Jews, the southern kingdom, unto Yahushua, thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? You see how carnal these Jakes are, man? I mean, come on, man. As if Yahushua, I mean, don't get me wrong. We know that Isaac was Yahushua. That was Yahushua in one of his reincarnations. But come on, man. As if Yahushua, he's been alive since the time of Abraham, all the way up unto, come on, Jake, man. Like Yahushua was hiding somewhere in a mountain, waiting for the day to make his grand appearance in Jerusalem. Like, come on, man. Come on, Jake. But you see that's how simple Jake is, Nah, man. Nah, when Yahushua died as Isaac, he came back as Solomon, and when Yahushua died as King Solomon, he came back as the Savior, Yahushua. Okay? But again, Yahushua was speaking spiritual words unto these Jakes, and they could not see it. Okay? They could not see it. Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Okay? So Yahushua was basically telling these Jakes the truth. But again, Jake couldn't see it, man. Then took they, those wicked Israelites, those wicked southern kingdom Jakes, so those wicked Israelites, then took they up stones to cast at Yahushua. Now here's the point, right? Let's see if Yahushua tried to be some kind of tough guy, But Yahushua humbled himself and hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. So Yahushua basically fled from those wicked Israelites who tried to stone him. So what am I saying here? Yahushua, when Yahushua came on the scene, he was all about doing his father's work. He was all about doing Yahweh's business. He was all about his father's work. Okay, so Yahushua knew that it was not about, he knew that when he came on the scene, it was not about trying to be some kind of tough guy. It was about doing his father's will. And that's what you Jakes failed to see, man. You didn't see the bigger picture. Yahushua saw the bigger picture. Okay? But you wicked Jakes in this video right here, you did not see the bigger picture. If you cared so much about Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you would have just humbled yourself down in front of the police and acknowledge and just acknowledge whatever they had to say, man. And then be like, you're right. We should have went somewhere else. I mean, no, you should have been like, you know what, you're right. We should go somewhere else. People are complaining. We apologize for any disturbances we might have caused. But, we're just out here teaching, again, our apologies. That's what you should have did, man. You should have humbled yourself, man. Okay? That's the police you're dealing with. You're not dealing with security officers. You're dealing with the police, man. You got to be wise. You got to walk wisely in this truth. But again, like the brother Yashawamba would say, there's not enough fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in the land. Okay? You see, Jake, you got to understand, man. The police is the Heavenly Father's whooping stick. That's what the Lord uses to punish our people. So if you trying to resist the Heavenly Father's whooping stick, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to beat your ass with it. You trying to grab the Heavenly Father's whooping stick, man. He'll snatch that whooping stick out your hand and beat your ass with it. What's wrong with you, Jake? You dealing with the police, man. You don't know you not that the so-called white man is the whooping stick of the Heavenly Father? The Lord set this man up in power to punish us. So you got to walk wisely in this truth. Like Yahweh Shai said in the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, and I believe the 17th verse. Be ye wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Why? Because when you're out there teaching on the highways and hedges, you are a sheep in the midst of wolves. The wolves are the 2/3 of our people, and the heathens started with the so-called white man. Now, here's another account, okay? Now, this was after Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal, okay? Okay, or at least that's what they were calling themselves back then. Jake is into all kind of manner of BS. They was calling themselves the prophets of Baal. So after Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal, and he basically mocked them, and then afterwards, he proved to the other Jakes, who were watching in the background, that Yahweh was the power. Yahweh is the power. He proved to them by placing, I believe, several stones around the altar. And then he put a offering in the midst of the altar. Then the Heavenly Father sent down a fire to consume that offering, showing basically to show Israel that Yahweh is their power, not Baal, okay? Which Baal just means ruler, or a ruler of the land. So after realizing that Yahweh is the power, okay, Elijah had the prophets of Baal put to death. So after the prophets of Baal was put to death, Ahab basically told Jezebel about everything that Elijah had done concerning the prophets of Baal, which were slain by the sword. So let's see what Elijah's reaction was, okay? After he received a threat message from Jezebel, okay? 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 1. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain, okay, how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, right? Showing you that Jezebel was a freaking heathen. No, she was into all manner of gods, false gods. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life is one of them, meaning that them is talking about the prophets of Baal, by tomorrow around this time. So basically, she had threatened to take Elijah's life. So let's see what Elijah did. Let's see if Elijah tried to be some kind of tough guy, and he basically sent a threat message back to her like bitch, I wish you would. Let's see if Elijah tried to be some kind of tough guy. Let's see if he just stood there and waited for something to happen. Let's see if Elijah tried to be some kind of tough guy. Let's see what Elijah's reaction was after he received the threat message. 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 3. And when Elijah saw And when Elijah saw that message, okay, he arose and went for his life. Let's look up the word went. Yalak. It's the Hebrew word yalak. Okay. Okay. Here's a root word for it too. Let's look up the root word. Let's see, one moment. Okay. So I guess you could say departed, but that's not what I'm looking for. In other words, went is another word for fled. Okay, that's what I'm getting at basically. So when Elijah had saw the threat message, he arose and fled for his life. So Elijah did not try to be some kind of tough guy. He fled for his life when he received that threat message. Okay? Now, is it a threat when the police come up to you? Well, absolutely. Do you not see the police shootings in the news? Okay? That's why when the police come up to your camp, man, you got to be humble. You got to be wise. Wise as a serpent, like Yahushua said, harmless as a dove. A dove is a harmless creature. Okay, now, there's many ways you could be harmless. You don't have to get physical with somebody to be harmful. You can be harmful just by your actions, by the words you say, you know, by your attitude, you see? So when the police come around, you got to have a totally different demeanor, man. You got to be calm, cool, and collected. Because the police is always looking for a reason to get the profits off of the streets, man. I mean, who's funding the police? The so-called elites. Okay? And when Elijah saw that, he arose and fled for his life and came to Beersheba, which belongeth to Judah, and left his servant there. Okay? So that's the point I wanted to make, okay? As great of a man as Elijah was, he got up and fled, man. And really, Elijah was being persecuted for righteousness' sake, because what Elijah did was a righteous act, okay? Because what did the Lord say in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter? The very first commandment is what? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So those wicked jakes who were calling themselves the prophets of Baal, they was worshiping Baal as some kind of god. So what happened? Well, the Lord sent Elijah to have him put to death. So what Elijah did was a righteous act. Now in the book of Matthew, the 5th chapter, it tells you, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. But you guys, this dude is not being persecuted for righteousness' sake. Okay? He could have avoided being arrested by being wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So he was not being persecuted for righteousness' sake. Okay? If anything, he's being persecuted for resisting authority. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 8. Now, this is an account concerning Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. 3 men who refused to bow down to the statue which Nebuchadnezzar had set up for the people at that time to worship. Now, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they did not bow down to the statue to prove that they were tough guys. You know, they did not refuse I mean, okay, they didn't refuse to bow down to the statue to prove that they were tough. The reason why Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego refused to bow down to the statue was because it was a commandment in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. The Lord said, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Okay, so there's a difference between being arrested when you could have avoided being arrested, and there's a difference between being arrested when it's out of your control. Okay. Now, if you were being humble and being compliant with the police and they still arrested you, that's a different story. At least you attempted to humble yourself and reason with the police, but they still arrested you. You know, that's different. But the police gave you a chance. They gave you a chance to move somewhere else. Okay? The first thing they did was say that we received a call for a noise complaint. All you had to do was humble down, apologize, made an offer to move somewhere else and teach, and if you had done that, 9 times out of 10, you would not have been arrested. When Yahushua was detained and arrested, it was out of his control. He didn't resist. He didn't try to be some kind of tough guy, No, Yahushua humbled himself and he allowed those wicked Israelites to detain and arrest him and bring him to Pilate to be persecuted, before them. That's a different story. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they did not bow down to the statue because they knew that a part of the commandment of the Lord was what? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So to bow down before that statue would have been a sin unto death. Okay? Now, it's a different story. Now, if the police come up to you and tell you, you got to take this chip, well, that's a different story. You got to tell them no. Because taking that chip is the same as bowing down before the statue of Nebuchadnezzar. Taking that chip is a sin unto death. Okay? So that's a different story. If the police come up to you and tell you, you got to take the jab if you want to come out here to teach, well, you got to refuse. Because the scriptures tell you not to receive any cuttings in your flesh, and if any man defile this temple, him shall the Lord destroy. So that's a different story, If you're being arrested if you're being arrested for not doing something that could greatly offend the Lord, that's different. But if you're being arrested for something that could have been avoided, that's a different story, man. You put that upon yourself. This dude that's being arrested, he basically made a fool out of himself, man. This truth is not about trying to be some tough guy. This truth is all about doing the work and the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua so the elect can be sealed, because the sooner the elect gets sealed, the sooner Yahushua can come back and destroy this place and deliver his elect men. And the sooner Yahushua can put the so-called white man and these heathen nations in slavery, and the sooner Yahushua's kingdom can be established. That's what it's about. Okay, Daniel chapter 3, verse 9. Well, I just started at 8. Wherefore at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews, talking about Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were being persecuted for righteousness' sake. Just like how Yahushua was persecuted for righteousness' sake, for telling those wicked Jews the truth. Just like how Elijah was persecuted for righteousness' sake. Well, Daniel was also persecuted for righteousness' sake. Okay, he got caught praying to the Most High, And in the process, he got thrown into a lion's den. The Lord defended him. Okay? So what am I saying? There's a difference between being persecuted for righteousness' sake and being persecuted for wickedness' sake. This Jake got arrested and persecuted for wickedness' sake. Why? This dude was being wicked because he was resisting the ordinances which the Lord have set up. The Lord have set these policemen up. The Lord gave them the power and the authority to arrest you Jakes, and throw you in prison or to put you out to death. So if you're resisting the powers which the Lord have set up, well, the Lord's going to put the spirit on those powers to do what they got to do. So this dude was not being arrested for righteousness' sake. He was being arrested because he was being wicked. He was resisting the police. Okay, point blank, period. Okay, if you call yourself going out there and teaching, well, Matthew's the 5th chapter and the 25th verse, or where Yahushua said, agree with thine adversary quickly, Matthew's the 5th chapter, that should have came into your mind immediately the moment you saw the police. So they spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, and harp, and sackbut, psaltery, and the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy false gods. Okay, but I'm going to just read it verbatim. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Okay, so, make a long story short, they Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, they were thrown into the fiery furnace and they were defended. Why? Because they did not bow before the image, the golden image. Neither did they worship the false gods that were set up by Nebuchadnezzar. And this is my last one. Okay, now this is concerning King David. As mighty of a warrior as King David was, okay, when King David was confronted by the prophet Nathan for committing adultery with Uriah's wife and having had Uriah murdered on the battlefield by the hand of the children of Ammon, when Nathan confronted King David, King David basically realized that he has sinned before the Lord, right? So basically, let's see what King David's reaction was after, everything Nathan had told King David concerning the punishment that King David would bear for having Uriah murdered and committing adultery with Uriah's wife. So 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 9, wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast murdered Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of his son. But thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. So let's see what David's reaction was. Let's see if David got up off his throne on some tough guy shit and beat the hell out of Nathan. Like thou speakest to me like that? Let's see what King David's reaction was after being told all these things that was going to happen to him for committing adultery with Uriah's wife. Let's see if King David played the role of a tough guy. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also have put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Okay, so in other words, when King David realized, you know, when David was confronted on committing adultery with Uriah's wife, he humbled himself and said that he had sinned against the Lord. He didn't get angry at Nathan. He didn't get on some tough guy stuff and attacked Nathan. You know, he didn't get physical with Nathan. He didn't resist Nathan. You know, he didn't go to the Holy Scrolls and be like, well, hold on, what about this scripture right here? You know, does the scripture speak on this concerning that? Nah, King David humbled himself and admitted that he sinned against the Lord. So what am I saying here, man? There's a bigger picture to this truth than just trying to be some tough guy. Yeah, it's good that you know you're an Israelite. It's good that you know about what happened to you during the time of slavery, but don't let that get to your head, man, you know, because as the Lord has given you, he can also take away from you. Okay, you Jakes, you got to get it out of your head that you Jakes, you got to get this tough guy shit out of your head, man. This truth is not about trying to be some tough guy. This truth is all about doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? While working out your own salvation with fear and trembling, so the elect can be sealed by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai through the word of Yahweh, which is Yahweh Shai, because the sooner the elect gets sealed, the sooner Yahweh Shai can come back, destroy this wicked kingdom, deliver his elect men, put the heathens in slavery, starting with the so-called white man. And the sooner Yahushua can establish his kingdom on the earth, and the sooner we can be in our rest. That's what it's all about, man. Okay? Fuck that tough guy shit. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom is on to the next one. And also, there's something else I would like to say as well, before I close it out. If it's the number one thing all these men had in common, they had humbleness and humility about them. Yahushua had humbleness and humility about him. Elijah had humbleness and humility about him. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, and Daniel, they all had humbleness and humility about them. King David, he had humbleness and humility about him. So what if the police get called on you and there's a group of people looking at you because you're being confronted by the police? At the end of the day, you need to realize that this truth is all about humble. Another thing you must also realize is that this truth is all about humbleness and humility. Okay? Look up the word humility. And a matter of fact, for edification's sake, I'm going to do it real quick and then I'll close out the video. I already know what the definition means, but I'm going to look it up anyways, okay? The word humility means a low view of one's importance. When you realize that the Lord don't need you, then you start to realize, like, dang, the Lord could have raised up stones to wake up our people. The Lord don't need me. Once you get that into your mind, that makes you want to be even more humble, because you realize that the Lord can dispose of you at any time. The Lord can dispose of me at any time. Okay? The Lord did not have to wake me up to this truth, but I thank Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and I praise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai that he did. But at the same time, you know, there's nothing important about me. You know? And if you call yourself being a brother in this truth, you should have that same exact attitude about yourself. You know? The Lord don't need me. And at the same time, if you call yourself being a brother in this truth, you should have that same attitude about yourself. Humility from google.com.
Humility.
Okay, it says a modest or low view of one's importance. Okay, check that out. Humbleness. Okay, the Lord loves a person in this truth that is diligent, with humility, and filled with humbleness. With that, I'm going to say Shalom is on to the next one.